loading time is still very long. Apparently, but yeah.
Did you guys get the Big Bomb achievement already?
Yeah.
The Bing Bong.
Bing bong. Bing bong. And I still have to go for the shrooms.
I still have to go for all the food.
And her 3 hot dogs?
Yeah, but no one would let me take the 3 hot dogs.
Oh, we can let you take the hot dogs, it's no problem.
I take it.
Yeah, it's for you.
Oh, thank you. Ooh.
Sometimes the best games come along when you're just least expecting it. I'd seen Peak around, I knew what it was, but I just had no intention of playing it. I just played a few climbing games anyway, and I had other things going on. And then a few friends started playing it a couple of days later, and almost like bullied me into buying it. So I checked the price, and it was very accessible. It's like £3 or £4 at the time. So I picked it up, installed it, and jumped right in. I think Peak is pretty much what it says on the tin. It's a cooperative climbing simulation. And I think therein that is one of the bigger strengths of the game. It's very simple, the idea is very accessible, and people can get on board with it straight away. They can just say, right, this is what we're doing, keep moving forward, there's the peak, and just go for it. Now, the way that Peak was developed is actually just as interesting as the game itself. So the game is actually co-developed by 2 different studios called Aggro Crab and Landfall Games. Now, Aggro Crab had just gone through a pretty tough development cycle and they were pretty exhausted, and then they saw how Landfall had made their last game very quick and very efficiently. So the story goes that Aggro Crab asked to tag along on their next development process, and this basically entailed renting out an Airbnb in Seoul in South Korea, and they hired lots of equipment, they bought a lot of desks and turned the Airbnb into like an ad hoc development studio. And then essentially they locked themselves in for 4 weeks and only let themselves out to scavenge for food, eat Korean barbecue, go over design processes, and then go back in and again back at it, coding on the fly. No real superstructure in terms of like planning, just making decisions as they came and then just getting back on it, and just really fast development process. And it seems to have paid off because over 80% of the game was already in place when they left the Airbnb and went back to their respective studios. Once the game had been topped and tailed over the next few weeks, the game developers were then basically going to go on holiday and just recover from this like month ordeal in this Airbnb. And something happened, something organic, something amazing. The game started to gain real traction, and so the developers then decided that they just couldn't go on holiday. They had to stay in their development mode and keep supporting the game because this was big. This could be potentially huge. And you could say it was huge because now they've sold over 10 million copies, and the developers, I assume now, are financially secure for basically forever, and they can go off and do whatever they want to do. They've also said now that they're not going to support Peak really beyond this last big update. So the Gloom update was their last content drop, and it's added a lot of stuff. But I really respect them for doing this because this game has been such a cultural thing. There's so many people playing it at the moment. They really could milk this for a lot more money, doing DLC, doing expansions, doing like a live service thing, and they've just said no. The game is done. We've done everything we want to do with it. It's time to move on. Peak was never in early access. It actually launched in 2025, and then since that date the developers have added various patches and upgrades to the different systems. And they've also added new biomes, new equipment, and new ways of climbing the mountain. So like I said, the game is very simple execution. You start off in an airport, you are obviously going off on an adventure, a trip. Yeah, you got your passport to change your appearance. There's various things in the airport to mess around with, but ultimately you press on the terminal and you start your ascent. Now, the pretext is you're in a plane and the plane crashes. It's nothing like Bioshock. It's not a big dramatic thing where you've got to fight your way past water and stuff. You just wake up and you start your climb on the shore. So starting off, like I said, you start on the shore and you can see the mountain in front of you and you just start making your way towards it. Now, you'll notice there's various things around you. There's trees you can climb up to get coconuts. There's various bits of equipment around the crash site. There's a little fire burning. So most people cook various things like coconuts and whatever. You can actually cook a lot of objects, like objects that might damage you or give you a negative debuff. If you cook them, it kind of like removes them. Be aware that some objects don't like being cooked and will explode or have various effects, but you'll figure that out yourself. In terms of things to actually help you climb the island, there's been a whole range of things over the last year, and more have been added over time. Some are quite practical, like pitons that basically you can jam into a wall and use as like a holding spot to regain your stamina. And then other things like rockets, where you can literally just like put a rocket on your back and launch yourself up into the air. Yeah, these things are all very playful, but most of them have like a practical use as well.
Or do you want to do there?
Why don't you come this way?
Alright. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so
I'm
sorry
coming,
if
I'm
this
coming.
kills you.
Yeah.
Oh god, up and away. To infinity and beyond. Oh,
Oh, what is that? Oh, what?
oh,
Gino!
no.
Gino! Where are you?
Oh god.
No, where are you? Where are you? I saw you. Are you dead?
Yeah.
Are you?
It
are
was
you,
glorious, I'll have you know.
Are you dead?
One of the really nice features in Peak is the stamina bar. It's both simple and brilliant. It shows you all the information you need to know instantly. So, for example, if you've got like a heavy weight on your back for a backpack and loads of things inside it, you've got a segment of the backpack that's taken up by like a weight section. Now that can increase with weight and it can increase with other factors as well. Also, things like poison. The more poisoned you are, that will take up a section. And so all of these different sections adding up will depreciate the section that is for stamina. Now, as there are light mechanics in this for survival, you've also got a hunger meter as well. So as you move around and move forward in the game, the hunger meter will build up. Now, as you move through the different biomes, you'll find like all kinds of different foods. And what I found really funny was a lot of these foods are based on the things that these guys would find when they were also kind of like scavenging around Seoul looking for different snacks and things like that. So you've got like airplane food for their travels, you've got granola bars, you've got energy drinks and all that kind of stuff. And interestingly, energy bars and lollipops and all that kind of thing, they will give you a massive boost initially, and then you will get a crash which is shown on your stamina bar for like a small period of time. So as you get to the peak of the first area, you'll see like a plume of smoke coming from the first campfire, and this is where you can kind of replenish your stamina. You'll gain another backpack as well, so like if you've got somebody with you, they can also carry more stuff. And this then takes you to the new biome, which is basically randomly generated, so you don't know exactly what you're going to get until you get there. It can be the desert, it can be the snow, it can be like a rainy tropical forest, and each one has like their own survival mechanics which you have to navigate and overcome. Now, one of my favourites in inverted commas is the one with the wind, and I think most people will agree with that. Yeah, not my favourite at all. Basically, as you are climbing around in the upper rafters of this area, there's like big gusts of wind that come, and everyone in the group will shout wind as soon as it does, because you have to hold on to things and just hope for dear life you don't get blown off. So yeah, it's funny and it's also dangerous, and if you get blown off the edge, that's basically you done. There are actually a few more dramatic areas, like the desert area has like a massive twister that moves around, and if it comes for you, you just have to hold onto the rock or whatever you can get hold of, and if it picks you up, it will literally cast you across the entire level, and unless you're incredibly lucky, gravity will do its thing, and that'll be you done. And you'll usually end up on like impaled on a cactus as well, with spikes coming out of every orifice. So yeah, one to avoid. So, other people. Yeah, this can be a multiplayer game. You can do it solo. You can just set off on your own, do a solo climb. It is more difficult, I'd say, because there's a really handy like pulling mechanic, which basically allows you to get near another player and they can like pull you up. It saved me so many times. So solo climbing is more difficult, especially on the ascent, which I'll mention later on. I would say go in a group. It's way more fun, and you just have a good laugh together, watching each other like fall, or like the way you're trying to climb up different things, setting off different traps, setting off certain devices. It's just a really good laugh. Now, of course, being on PC, most people will have Discord on and talking normally, and that's fine. But like Big Walk, the other game that's very similar to this, having the game in-game chat on is actually quite atmospheric and quite funny. So it uses this like proximity VoIP technology, where basically you can hear people right next to you, but as they get further away, the game will generate a more faint voice until you can basically just hear like a distant voice, and then eventually nothing at all. So this kind of encourages you to stay together as a group and not wander off. And also, they've got some really nice tech here, which has been done before, but it still adds like another element to it. So when the person's talking in game, their actual mouth on their avatar is like chatting away, which is quite funny. And also, like things when you're in caves or big, massive open areas, you can hear the reverberations of sound off all the walls and in caves, and it sounds incredible, and it adds a lot more atmosphere. So yeah, I would say give Discord a try, but then once you've actually got comfortable with the game, give the actual in-game voice a go.
Shite.
This is not good.
Yeah, I think we need to go across.
Well,
Yeah, there's an exit over there.
Yeah. Right there.
Oh my god, you guys are so loud. Jeez.
Yeah, they are really.
The fog rises.
And I put them.
And while we're talking about other groups of people, just worth mentioning that the game only supports up to another 3 players, so 4 in total, but there is a really handy mod that is very easy to install, and it allows you to go over 4. And we've had groups of like 7 or 8 people so far, and yeah, obviously the more people, the more chaos. It can get very, very interesting. So we were lucky enough to have a few players who've been playing since the initial launch, and so they have a lot more information about how to get things done. And it became very apparent very quickly that achievements are such a big part of this game. So when you look at your character, you've got like a sash across your chest, and on that you've got badges for different achievements. And some of these are absolutely insane. I think some of my favourites are one for actually eating one of your fellow climbers. Basically, as you get more hungry, the other climbers appear as chickens, and so yeah, you can basically eat one of them, and that's one of the achievements. There's one where you have to serenade some of the local wildlife with a trumpet. I mean, yeah, just random, but I love it. And yeah, one where you have to carry Bing Bong, one of the famous like little toys. You have to carry him from the start to the finish and escape with him. So yeah, it is just a lot of fun. So as I've mentioned, this last big update is now their final content update, and they're now done. And in that content update, they added what's called ascents. And ascents essentially add conditions for each one. So they start off quite simple, like hunger comes up faster, or like you've got less stamina on certain climbs. And the first few are fairly easy to do, and then after that, you've got things like there's no flares at the top of the mountain, so you have to like make sure that you get one on the way and take it with you. As these stack up, these become more and more intrusive onto your climb, and eventually it's very difficult to get to the top. Now I'm currently on ascent 5, I think, but my son's actually done all of them, so this is something I'm working on at the moment. But again, they add another element to the game and give it a bit more longevity. In terms of the graphics, I think they're absolutely perfect for what they're trying to do with this. They're simple, they work, and in some instances, when you've got the graphics turned right up, it's actually quite a pretty game. You know, you're looking over the mountains and the sun's going down, or when you're looking over the desert area and all the rock goes like really like bright red as the sun's hitting it in the afternoon. It's actually quite a pretty game, but it's also functional. All the stuff works really well, and I love that about this game. It's a very practical game, and it just gets the job done. I don't think there's really much else I can say about Peak. It is what it is. You'll know yourself if you're looking at these images and videos, you'll know if you want to play it or not. But I would say even if like climbing things are not your thing, just give this one a go. It does really get under your skin, and you just think, yeah, we'll just do one more. And if you've got a group of friends who also are looking for a co-op game to play together, you honestly, you won't have more fun than this game. It's absolutely fantastic, and the way the developers have meshed all the gameplay elements together, they really are so talented in the way they've done it. And honestly, within like 10 minutes, you'll be laughing together and like watching each other fail and fall. And then that moment when you're all on the top of the peak and you've lit your flares and you're all taking off together, it's such a good moment as well. So I would say, yeah, 100% give it a go. And also, this is a real poster child for indie developers and the way that games, I think, should be developed if possible. It's done with love and care, and they just love their craft, don't they? And that is a very rare thing these days. So, yeah, hats off to the developers, and yeah, I love Peak. Go get it. If you're still here, thank you for staying till the end. The algorithm does appreciate it, and so do I. My next review will be probably an ultimate final review for GTA 5, and I'm also going to be reviewing the new Star Wars / XCOM game that's coming out in a few days. So very much looking forward to that. So I will see you all there. I hope you're all well, guys. Take care. Thanks. Bye bye.